CloudWatch showed the 2.17.9 error at 2:14, and it was mine. I sat there with the Insights tab open, a fresh filter for level equals error and service equals API, and a line just popped up like it had fallen through a crack in the ceiling. Path, method, a correlation ID that matched the OU prefix or gateway injects. The message included the exact input I had in my VS Code scratch file, the one I hadn't sent yet. 3 minutes later, Slack woke the house up. PagerDuty, then hash incidents lit up, and the same error scrolled by with the same correlation ID. It was like watching a live replay of a thing you hadn't done. I didn't say anything then. I told myself it was time skew. Werner Cease-1, CloudWatch sorts by the event's timestamp unless you force ingestion. If the app clock was off, you could get out of order entries. If you're on call long enough, you learn to blame clocks. I checked the clocks. The EC2 instance our API runs on, chronic tracking, was boring and right. My Windows laptop, w32tim/query/status 0.123's offset. Our Docker containers were using UTC. Everything that could have drifted was welded in place. The second time, the message was stranger. It referenced a commit hash, the first 7 of SHA I didn't recognize, with a note that our auth middleware couldn't pass a bearer token. The log time was 18:241. It was 17:59 on my taskbar. At 18:03, my teammate pushed a hotfix. I saw the hash on GitHub and felt sick. The first 7 matched. Our middleware choked because of the change he'd made, exactly as the log said, exactly at the minute the log had predicted. Slack lit up again, like it was following a script. I started to chase it. CloudWatch has an at ingestion time field if you dig. That's when AWS claimed it got the event. The predicted errors all had ingestion times within seconds of when I saw them. The timestamps inside the events were the ones from the future. I switched the query to sort by ingestion. The go stayed. In VS Code, I wrote a tiny sanity test. I hit a development route that logs a line with a test promotum in a random string. I typed RUID into my scratch file but didn't hit enter in the terminal. I copied the exact payload I intended to send, right down to the extra white space. When I asked CloudWatch Insights for any message containing test promotum, one result was dated 2 minutes ahead with my RUID. It stared back at me in that bland monospaced font as if the service had reached into my head, or my Arium. I ran it. 2 minutes later, it came true because I made it true. I watched my own footprints appear before I stepped. I told my manager. He told me to sleep. He said I'd been on call too many nights in a row, that our log retention and sampling might be weird, that I should file a ticket and step away. I nodded and didn't. At 1:39, I found a line predicting a database migration at 1:44. The content field included the exact SQL we used to drop a column we had been arguing about removing for weeks. The user field was me. It said migration, drop users temp phone, executed by my email. I was going to drop that column. I wasn't even in the repo with the migrations. I revoked my personal token on GitHub, just to be paranoid. I set the database user to read only in the console and copied the admin password into a sticky note I didn't peel. At 1:43:55, a stale GitHub action ran on a fork my teammate had created for testing. It used an old runner with cached secrets we'd forgotten. It tried to run the migration, failed because of the read-only mode, and our service threw the exact error the log had forecast. Permission denied executing drop users temp phone. The executed by field was me because my email was in the default committer setting for the fork. It was malicious. It was boring and stupid and exactly on script. I moved the fork to private and made the runner tear itself down. I put my phone face down. My screen reflected me like a second screen. Chrome history showed me searches I hadn't done yet, like CloudWatch feature timestamp ingestion time WID. If you hovered, you could see the exact moment it would be created. It was 5 minutes from now. I watched the clock tick down and then, because I am not stronger than a browser bar, I typed the query and hit enter at the precise time and the entry slid into place, satisfied. I started closing things. Slack could be closed. VS Code could be closed. GitHub could be closed. Windows does the thing where it still keeps little ghosts in the taskbar, faint icons in grey. The notification badges were numbers counting up by themselves. Around 2:11, I found a message in our hashing internal channel scheduled for 3:12. In Slack, you get a little cock icon and a line that says you scheduled this. I hadn't. The message was from me. It was short, almost gentle, don't check the logs. Sleep. I clicked cancel and Slack spun its little spinner and brought the message back like it had never been cancelled. I took a screenshot and then thought about the ethics of taking a screenshot of yourself. There was one more line in CloudWatch that didn't fit any of our parsers. It didn't have a service name. It was tagged with a source I didn't recognize, /or/other. The message text was human. It said, "Stop trying to be first." I looked up every place in our stack that string could have been written. Grep through repos, actions, configs, lambda code, Terraform modules. Nothing. The ingestion time was now, the event time was 3 minutes from now, and I had never hated 3 minutes so much. It should have fallen apart. If it was just clocks, or some broken client library, the pattern would break when I stepped out of it. I put my laptop in airplane mode. I unplugged Ethernet. I sat in the dark living room and watched my own face floating on the black of the screen. The logs updated anyway. CloudWatch Insights isn't real time, but the numbers shifted. The next prediction wasn't about the API. It was about a file on my machine. C uses my name documents narration 20, 25 minutes, 11 minutes, 18, 30, 1207, txt created, it said. The path was correct. The timestamp was a minute into the future. I didn't write that file name anywhere. I thought about file watchers, about Windows indexing, about how many innocuous systems know more than you think. I told myself they were all files with similar names and something was pattern matching. I told myself that, and then I watched the documents folder in Explorer and the file appeared right on time, an empty text file with my name in the audit trail. I didn't open it. I don't know why, because opening a text file doesn't change the world. I just sat there, and then Slack pinged my phone once on the table. The pin message for 3, well updated, from don't check the logs to please don't check the logs yet. I can hear how that sounds written out. As I'm recording this, I keep deleting statistics and adding context, and it doesn't make it more believable. Every time I try to test it, I end up doing exactly what it said I'd do. It's 3:11 now, and there's one more entry in the /or/other stream. It's not about the API or the database or even my laptop. It's a Slack message from me to you at 3:12, I'm sorry.